All right, hello everybody. We're going to look at statistics with Desmos. All right, so all the statistics that we have mentioned and studied so far, we can find them with Desmos. We've not been using Desmos much other than maybe if you've used it to add some numbers, maybe to find averages. But I'm going to show you how it can be used. So the very first thing is you can actually enter a list into Desmos by using the following notation. So I'm calling the list A. So I'm saying A equals, and then I use these brackets. All right, I use brackets at the beginning and at the end of my list, and I just type out every number in the list. So here, for example, are the average scores or your average grades in this class. So I've got a 93, 92, an 87, a 98, 99, 96, and these may be actually your scores or they may not be. I leave it to you to decide. So anyway, I have 18 students in the class, so it shows me that this is an 18 element list. All right, which is pretty cool. But hopefully it can calculate some things for me. Another thing I want you to notice is this list, I didn't have to put it in order. All right, I just entered all 18 elements of the list. Okay, so here are some stats that it can find. Now we've discussed all the stats. It's 5-number summary, median, mean. We've talked about shape and spread, IQR, etc. If you enter a list and you just type stats, just like that, stats, easy word to remember, stats, parentheses A, that means find the stats of list A, it will actually give you the 5-number summary for that list without you having to even put it in order. So it'll give you minimum, Q1, median, Q3, and max. What an easy way for you to come up with a box plot. All right. And then right here in the notes, I talk a little bit more about what I mentioned yesterday, IQR, how to find it. Then also you'll notice it only gives you the 5-number summary. We have other statistics that matter like mean. So if you want to find the mean, you actually just type mean, parentheses A. This beats the heck out of having to add up 18 numbers and then divide by 18. Because if you're like me, you might end up forgetting a number or typing a number incorrectly and you can make a mistake. So all you have to do is type mean of A and it gives you, so for example, right here I have that the average grade in the class is a 92.3. All right. Yesterday we briefly talked about standard deviation. All right. So what does standard deviation mean? It means the average jump from the mean. So it says right here, once I type in standard deviation, I abbreviated STDEV for standard deviation. If I find STDEV of A, it tells me the standard deviation is 7 points, which means if you're 7 points above the average or 7 points below the average, you can consider it average. All right, 68% of scores will be give or take 7 points from a 93. All right, so that talks about the normality of scores. Okay, the only other thing I have to say about this is not all calculators are the same. So the work that you have for Delta Math is a little bit different from how Desmos finds things. Okay, so the work that you have for Delta Math will give you all the statistics calculated though with a different calculator, not Desmos. So I've published this image for you, right? That if you click on it right here in your notes, in your Desmos notes, if you click on it, it'll appear. All right. That way, you make sure you look at your notes. Okay. This, for example, comes out of a TI-83 handheld graphing calculator. All right. These are the stats that it finds. So it finds X bar, which we said yesterday, that's the mean. All right. So this is an example. And it calls it one variable statistics. It finds this funky Greek letter with X, so that's actually sigma. So that means the sum of all the values. So that means if you added up all the values, you get 1,043. Now, this is not, by the way, this is not representative of the list that I have of the 18 grades. Then it even gives you, hey, what if you took each value, squared it, and added them up? Like you really need that. Actually, that's a step in finding standard deviation by hand. Then it gives you the standard deviation of a sample, gives you the standard deviation of a population. There's a slight difference between those. All right, you'll notice that those numbers are similar. It tells you n equals 7. That means I had 7 pieces of data in this set. It gives you the minimum value, Q1, median, Q3, and the max. In other words, it ends up giving you the 5-number summary. So that's just a breakdown of what the popular statistics that can be found by calculators are. Okay, so hopefully you understood. If you have any questions, send me an email and make sure you do your work. Okay.